everyone, I'm Charlie from Dr. Wen, and today then I will be ranking all TV stories from the 10th Doctor specials. These were a set of 5-hour-long episodes, including one two-parter, that revolved around the 10th Doctor regenerating into the 11th Doctor. They all sort of teased that. So this is my third upload today. I've previously uploaded videos where I rank the TV stories of Series 3 and TV stories of Series 4, so go and check those out. I'll set a card right here. And I noticed 75% of you aren't subscribed. I'm not going to force you to subscribe, but it would be really helpful to me if you do. I am still a small channel, so that I'd really appreciate it if you did. And watch till the end to find out my top pick. It might not be what you expect. So let's get into this video. I'll start off by just giving you a bit of background information on the 10th Doctor specials if you haven't watched them yet. So I'm going to rank all 5 of the 10th Doctor specials. You could argue that there's 4 or even 3. I will be including the Next Doctor, even though it is a Christmas special. And the End of Time parts 1 and 2 I'm actually separating, because I have very different opinions on them. So the Doctor is the 10th Doctor. These are his final episodes. He actually regenerates into the 11th Doctor in The End of Time Part 2. And the companions, there's not a major companion, but the companions include Wilfred Mott, Don Noble's grandfather, and the villains include alien stingrays, the Flood, and the Master, who makes a return in The End of Time Part 1. And let's get into this video. So in 5th place, you probably weren't expecting this, is The Waters of Mars, which I have rated 5.7. With this out of 10 rating system, any episodes that I've rated below 6 I don't like. There's really not many of them in total, but this one, I just don't see the appeal. I think it's an incredibly overrated episode. Most people put it in their top 50, 20, or even 10, which I don't really see why. It's got a relatively boring plot. It's just, it drags quite a bit and nothing much really happens. There's not much at stake. The Flood is quite a good villain design, with the cracked skin around the mouths and on the water. I think that was the best part of this episode, definitely. In terms of the side characters, there's no major companions or even minor companions, but the most main character in this, besides the Doctor, is Adelaide Brooke. She's quite a good character, quite interesting how generations after her explore the galaxy. But the rest of them I find quite annoying, actually. It can be argued this story is just a bit of filler before the end of time, just kind of flesh out the plot of these special episodes a bit more, but it's most of the others, they're specials for something, like the Next Doctor and the End of Time were Christmas specials, and Planet of the Dead was an Easter special, but this one was just, I think it was just plonked in the middle of November, which was quite odd. But I still don't hate it. There's only one Doctor Who episode I hate, and that's my least favourite. Okay, moving on is 4th place. This is the Next Doctor. Most people, I can imagine, probably put either this or Planet of the Dead in last place, and I've given it a 6.8. I don't hate it. I don't particularly like it. It's a very meh episode, very mediocre. So this one, the main villain is Cybermen. You can see that cyber controller there. And the main part of this isn't to do with the plot, it's to do with the characters. And it's where the 10th Doctor meets someone else who claims to be the Doctor, but actually they absorbed his memories after they found this machine that contained all of his life. So he thought he was the Doctor. But that was quite weird. There was a fake sonic screwdriver, a fake TARDIS. He even had a companion. It was pretty weird. But it's a fairly boring setting. Lots of Doctor Who episodes are set in Victorian London, which is quite boring, especially the 11th and 12th Doctor episodes. It gets pretty dull after a while. It's got a pretty meh plot. It does have Cybermen in, and I do quite like Cybermen. I actually prefer them to Daleks. And the huge Cyberman in Victorian London being controlled by them, that was really interesting. And I actually do quite like the idea of the other Doctor who is actually just a fake, but he doesn't know it. I thought it was quite an interesting plot device, and it'd be really cool if he could return, actually. So in third place, we're getting to the ones I actually quite like quite a bit. So it's The End of Time Part 1. As I said, I'm separating The End of Time Part 1 and 2 because I have very different opinions on them. And The End of Time Part 1 is definitely not as good as End of Time Part 2. I've given it a 7.7. The main reason why it's not higher is because mainly because of the Master's resurrection. It was really weird, quite poor storytelling on Russell T Davies' part, how he just was magically resurrected because of this ring, and it went bad, so he had really weird powers, like he ate loads and could now shoot lightning out of his hand. It was just pretty weird. But I do prefer this version of the Master instead of the Last of the Time Lords Master and Sound of Drums Master. I think the John Sim Master gets better and better as we see him. In Series 10 he's amazing. So another not so great part of this episode in my opinion is the Immortality Gate. I thought that was quite weird with those other characters. I thought they weren't really necessary. It would have just been better if the Master was building it himself. And this does have the first introduction of Wilfred Mott in a while, and he is a really good character, and I'm always happy to see him. And it has an amazing cliffhanger with the introduction of the Time Lords. At first we just thought that was a narrator, and then he started saying, "For the Time Lords and for Gallifrey," and that was really cool. I was really excited to see the next episode after that. So second place, this one probably is quite an unpopular opinion, is Planet of the Dead with a 7.9. I think this is a very underrated episode. It's not perfect, but I don't really see why it gets the hate it does. It's got pretty good side characters. There's the Madame Christina de Souza, who's a jewel thief. I thought she would have been a brilliant companion if the 10th Doctor had had another series in between this and the End of Time. And it was quite an easy watch to do. It's not got a very complicated plot, and it's good to just put on the TV and just have it as a bit of background. And it's got UNIT. I always like seeing UNIT because I'm a big fan of the Third Doctor's era of Doctor Who. So I'm always happy to see UNIT, and the fact that UNIT is there just kind of ties it back to the other stuff that happens in Series 4 as well. It makes it feel a bit more grounded. And this is a pretty solid episode. And now a huge step up to the next episode is The End of Time Part 2, which I've given 9.3. Now, I said there would be some spoilers. This is probably the biggest spoiler, but I can imagine the vast majority of you have seen this scene where the 10th Doctor regenerates into the 11th in The End of Time Part 2, possibly one of the saddest scenes in all of New Who. This episode was brilliant. I loved all of it, except for a couple of really minor things that I'll get into. I really liked Wilf in this episode again. I like how the 10th Doctor actually regenerated because he wanted to save Wilf. I thought that was really nice of him, and a really good way to end the Russell T Davies era. And there was a scene where he was going to shoot the Master, but then he changed to shoot the Time Lords, and that went on for like 5 minutes or something. And it just kind of dragged a bit until he actually shot the machine instead, and he could have done that before. It just didn't really make much sense. But the ending part where he went to see all of his companions was really nice, especially the one with Wilf, where Wilf saluted him. That was really sad as well, because that's his last appearance. And where he saw Rose, before Rose met the 9th Doctor, which was really nice. It was Rose was the first and last human face that the 10th Doctor saw. So, yeah, this episode is a masterpiece. I hope you've enjoyed this list, and yeah, and make sure you spread the word to others if you know anyone else who might like my videos. And also, there's another Doctor Who channel called EMS Productions. I'd go and check them out if I were you. They're a really good YouTube channel, and they make pretty good quality videos. They also, every Saturday night at 8 PM, then they do Doctor Who quizzes live, so I'd do that if you want to as well. I guess I'll see you. Ooh, and just a quick thing at the end. Later today or tomorrow, then I'm going to be doing another ranking video of Doctor Who Series 5 with the 11th Doctor and Amy. So make sure you're in tune for that. See ya.